I'm not saying you need to buy something here yet. We only bought one stock for the charitable trust today. One, despite this giant decline. And warned people that we don't want to be aggressive ahead of Thursday's club meeting at noon. We know a bounce may not directly be in the offing. We just had a huge run. We'll assess the damage in a deeper dive then. But the bottom line, we sure weren't selling. We didn't join the throng. You know why? Because we think the throng will ultimately be wrong.
Uber, Bitcoin, self-driving cars. Combine those three together, and you have the self-owning taxi. A car that is a corporation that owns itself, pays for the car lease, the car insurance, and the gasoline from the revenues it makes, giving passengers a ride, and there's not a single human involved in that matter.
Welcome to Key Stock and Crypto channel. Stocks and cryptos go down bad.
And we had stocks and cryptos take a beating. Wall Street tumbled, the biggest loss in 2 years after the CPI numbers. But guys, we know the Fed likes to price things in. We know we're about to have a 75 basis point rate hike next week. And then also the Bank of England is going to hike also. And we see the Asian markets taking a beating also. Remember guys, we're in a global economy. Now we had tech stocks get crushed and the sell-off also. And we know why. A lot of these stocks are going 38, 40, 50 times earnings still. Now that the winter is here, we know how important natural gas is. Just because the shakeup of the supply. We know natural gas is normally cheap, but now when we look at the actual stocks, they've been moving sky high. We see Occidental, we see Warren Buffett just keeps buying more and more. Over the next 2 quarters, I definitely see natural gas keeps moving up unless the supply issues are fixed, and I doubt that. And we also have Cheniere Energy benefiting off the gas boom. Now we had majority of stocks down, but Nintendo was one of the bright spots. Don't forget it's a dividend stock. So when stocks were pumping, it didn't move up big, but also guys, as stocks moved down, it didn't take a big hit. But we definitely know the future is gaming. Now we have Kathy Wood says the Fed can overdo it. But guys, we know they want to overdo it, so therefore they can build the 4th Industrial Revolution. We know the game plan, and we also know Kathy Woods knows the game plan because majority of her portfolio is for the 4th Industrial Revolution. Now, the next rate hike can spark a dangerous game. But guys, we know we took this big hit today because they're pricing in what they're going to be doing next week. Not all of it, but most of it. Now, we have Chrysler ends the product of the 300 sedan. And we see more and more popular cars, they're just stopping production. The same way with Dodge muscle cars. Guys, this is all part of the plan. Now we have Apple plans to sell ads in its Apple store. But guys, remember what I told you. Apple is going to take a big hit because it relies on China and Taiwan. And we know the friction is just starting. Now we have the Biden administration preparing for a potential strike when it comes to the railroads. And this topic should be on your news 24/7 on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, but it's not going to be. So we're going to see and let this play out, see how far they let this go. But railroads are so important to the supply chain. So like I stated, we'll see how far they let this go. I think they have until Friday. Now we have the U.S. signs deal with Google to develop chips for researchers. And we know it's all about the nanotechnology. And we now see all these big government contracts either going to Google, Microsoft, Amazon, or Palantir. Remember what I teach you, to follow the money. And lastly, guys, we go over the indicators. We have the actual yield rates up. We had the dollar index up. And then also, guys, we had the VIX up. Remember I told you, the VIX will always let you know when something is around the corner. But guys, all I have for you. You have a great day.
It would leave 7,000 trains parked. And that would lead to major problems getting
fertilizer to farms, food to grocery stores before it spoils, coal and oil to furnaces, parts to car plants, lumber to home builders, and all of that could cause shortages of just about everything and send sky-high prices to the stratosphere. Two of the biggest rail unions are threatening to strike if they don't reach a contract agreement by Friday. The Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainsmen and the Smart Transportation Division represent about half of all union workers. The main sticking point is over leave policies. Union workers want unpaid time off for things like unplanned medical issues without being penalized. According to the Association of American Railroads, on average, railroads haul nearly 2 billion tons of cargo a year, and 1/3 of all U.S. exports move by rail. And passenger trains? Well, Amtrak is already pulling some of those. In a statement, a company official wrote in part, Amtrak will be preemptively canceling trips over an additional 7 long-distance routes tomorrow to avoid possible passenger disruptions. The company reports the negotiations, if they do not involve track employees directly, but some of its rail lines may be impacted. CNBC senior White House correspondent Kayla Tausche is with us. Can the White House do anything about this?
Well, Shep, the White House is certainly trying to, making contingency plans in case those tens of thousands of railway employees walk out Friday. If all 12 industry unions don't share the same position on paid leave and negotiations don't get extended. President Biden was last briefed on the situation earlier today, and top agency officials from the Departments of Transportation, Agriculture, and Energy are meeting daily to try to figure out how they can move those critical goods without trains.
We are working with other modes of transportation, including the shippers and truckers, air freight, to see how they can step in and keep goods moving in case of this rail shutdown.
A White House official tells me the administration is evaluating all available emergency authorities to keep those commodities in transit and to protect certain hazardous materials. The official tells me the president and cabinet members in phone calls with companies and rail carriers have tried to underscore the devastating impact a potential shutdown could have on families and the economy. The official telling me President Biden did not side with the union's case in his outreach, despite his longtime vocal pro-labor stance.
I keep talking about union jobs. I'm not anti-business. I'm a capitalist. But here's the deal. The reason I push everyone to use union labor is because they're the most skilled labor in the world. So, folks, let's give them credit for what they deserve.
That from just today at the White House. Meanwhile, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the Business Roundtable, two influential lobbies, have called on Congress to intervene and impose a settlement, something labor-friendly Democrats have so far been loath to do. Shep?
Kayla Tausche live at the White House.